Hi, I'm Lori Baker with Quilters Newsletter magazine. I've had the opportunity over the past few days to preview the new machine from Pfaff, the Creative Performance. I'd like to tell you some of the features about the machine that I enjoy as a quilter. The first thing, well, this one's not really as a quilter, but it's purple, and I love purple, so I like the idea of a purple machine. The Creative Performance has 450 plus stitches, so just think of the opportunities if you're crazy quilting or decorating baby quilts. Lots of fun things to do there with the stitches. There are 9mm stitches. There are maxi stitches, which are over 40, some of them are over 40 millimeters wide. And there's a new feature with the Pfaff that is a stacking stitch, which is two different stitches that you stitch over the same spot in different thread colors, and they create a wonderful pattern. This is one of the stacking stitches. I love those to decorate quilt blocks. One of the features of a Pfaff that is really wonderful for quilters is this little mechanism behind the needle. This is called the IDT, Integrated Dual Feed, and what it does is move the top layer of fabric through at the same rate of speed as the bottom layer of fabric. If you are going through multiple layers of fabric, the IDT combined with the optimized feed system on the Pfaff Creative Performance gives you nice smooth stitches and eliminates a lot of the pucker that you sometimes find when you're trying to quilt through multiple layers. I'd like to go across some of the buttons on the front of the machine and tell you what they are. This first one is presser foot up, and it has two positions. One is up at a normal level and then extra high, so if you are trying to slide the embroidery hoop that is an option with this machine, that will clear the embroidery hoop. The second button is the presser foot down button, and that also has two positions: down, clear on the bed of the machine, and pivot, so if you need to just move the fabric just a little bit, you can do that in pivot position. This button is the thread snips. This one is immediate tie off, so when you get to the end of those piecing those blocks, you can touch that, and the next time the needle pierces the fabric, it immediately ties off. This one is needle down. I especially appreciate the needle down function when I'm appliquing. We also have a touch screen. I can use either the stylus or I can use my fingernail. I'll use the stylus today because I can keep my hand out of the way better, but I really do usually just use my fingernail. In the upper left-hand corner of the screen are the recommendations for the particular stitch that we're on. This first one tells you the stitch number. The second one tells you what presser foot you should be using, or at least the recommendation. Now, the Pfaff Creative Performance does come with a 1/4 inch foot, which is perfect for quilters. If you look at the foot, it has this edge, the right edge of the toe is 1/4 inch, and the inside edge of that toe is 1/8 of an inch. So that's a great feature for quilters too. Back to the information, the presser foot recommendation. This next one is whether or not you should have IDT engaged. And then there's a third one that sometimes shows that looks like a piece of paper, and that's if you should be using stabilizer with a stitch. We're going to go down over on this side and talk about a couple of the features that are on this side of the screen. This one, the second one up from the bottom, is sequencing. We can take a stitch and add two in sequencing and create something completely different. So we're going to start with this star stitch, and then down here this icon is the directional stitch icon, and I have all of these options of directions that I can take stitches in. I'm going to take 3 stitches at 157.5 degrees, and then I'm going to take 3 stitches at 90 degrees, and then I'm going to add another star stitch. I'm going to go back to where I started by adding 3 more stitches at minus 157 degrees and 3 more stitches at minus 90 degrees, and tell it okay. And I've got another whole different look. I'm going to stitch this one out. I like to do crazy quilts, and I think these would just be lots of fun to do as embellishment on crazy quilts. And when I get to the end, I can engage the thread snips, and there's what we've got. Another of the fun features of the Pfaff Creative Performance is this bottom icon on the screen, and this is Stitch Creator. I can take a stitch that lives in the machine and I can delete parts of it and create a whole new stitch. So here's the whole stitch in green, and I'm going to delete part of it. The part of the stitch that shows in green is what I'm working on. So I'm going to throw away the part that's in green, and then I'm going to move everything to where the straight part of the stitch is at the center needle position. Then I want to make part of the stitch heavier, so I am going to select again just part of the stitch. The part of the stitch that's in green is what I've selected, and I'm going to turn that into a triple stitch. Now I'm going to copy that part, mirror image it, and I have a whole new stitch. So let's see what this looks like when I stitch it out. And again, when I get to the end, I can touch the thread snips, and there it is. Again, lots of fun for decorating crazy quilts, and I lots of times use decorative stitches when I sew on my binding for play quilts and that sort of thing. It makes them a lot sturdier than stitching them on by hand. The Creative Performance has the option of adding on an embroidery unit, so it can be an embroidery machine if you wish. It comes with 3 different hoops, and it has 224 embroidery designs that are built into the machine, but it also has USB capabilities, so you can transfer designs from your computer via the USB stick or with the cable that comes with the machine, and that will enable you to hook directly into your computer. Also, because of the capability of hooking directly into your computer, the Pfaff Creative Performance is updatable off the internet. So if they add new stitches and that sort of thing, you can simply download them from the website. The Pfaff Creative Performance has lots of capabilities as far as stitches and embroidery, ways to build things to make your quilt your own. I've enjoyed playing with it, and I've had a really good time with a test drive.